All right. Oh my gosh. Hey, my name is Ivy, and we are going to be doing a little something different today. I had this idea. I used to have a movie and TV film review blog. It was called Do You Have a Flag? I think you could probably still see it up on Blogspot. I think it's still around. If it is, I will put a link to it below just for fun. And it actually was, I would say, moderately successful for the time period that I put it out in. It was back when I had just graduated college. And I created this challenge that a lot of other people did along with me that was to basically cull down a film or a TV show episode or even a big scene within a film down to just 5 still frames. And then take those frames and put them together, like pick stitch them together to give you that overall sense and vibe and tone of the film. So I loved doing that because I'm such a visual junkie, and it just gave me a lot of satisfaction to see what other people did, what they found compelling, how they would kind of cull down these long stories into short form. But what really inspired me was that often the colors of the film would really pop within these like small little summaries. So I really loved that idea, and I thought, hey, what if I took just a single scene from a movie or from a TV show or from a music video and took a frame of it and then decided to do my makeup inspired by that scene. And so that is what we're here to do today. I'm going to be doing the very first one of these on camera with you guys. And if you end up really liking this idea, I would love to see you try it and tag me. For now, I'm just going to call it face frames, and we'll see if I come up with a better name. For the first one, I was so inspired by this scene from the show Severance. Now, if you haven't seen Severance and you're interested in seeing it, I'm just going to say a big spoiler alert here. Don't continue watching if you haven't seen the show, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. If you have seen the show and you don't care about spoilers, then you're really going to enjoy this, because the scene is from the episode Waffle Party, which is at the very end of the show. And it's basically this like discotheque scene in which they take over their little office space, they turn it into a mini discotheque. It's very surreal, it's very creepy, and it's very colorful. They put on these like lights and everything goes. I'm going to put a little scene clip of it, image of it over here. But that is going to be our inspiration for today's look. So I've picked out some makeup within my collection that I thought would be really good for a look like this. I think we're going to go kind of wild. I think we're going to go a little bold. So I found my Claro Psyche Real Fantasy palette. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with this brand, but I love this palette. It has such beautiful, bold shades in it. I also have over here my Kaleidos Escape Pod palette, which I don't pull out as often as I should. It is a really, really fun and funky, very bright, galactic inspired palette. And then last but certainly not least, I'm pulling out my very underutilized Nessa Myricks, I think it's Lightwork 4 palette. And this obviously has some incredible kind of shifty shades that I think are really bold and will work well for this look as well. So that's what we're working with. We have these 3 palettes to play with. I also have some bright blushes, a brighter lipstick. I think it's gonna be bold. I'm just gonna be inspired by the scene. I'm rewatching it as I'm doing my makeup. And we're also gonna take the opportunity to just quickly chat about Severance, which if you haven't seen it, I really do think you should check it out. You do have to be in the right headspace. It's kind of an intense show, but it was so well done, and I have never seen in quite a long time such a beautifully art-directed show. It is gorgeous. Okay, so with that, enough rambling. Let's start getting into the eye look. I think I saw Gabrielle Alvarez on Instagram do something recently with like a rounded wing on her eye. So instead of doing like a nice sharp cat eye, she did the total opposite. She did a rounded shape wing. And I thought that that was really cool. And it kind of reminded me of the idea of these like flashing lights, like globe style, flashing soft lights, nothing too harsh, nothing too sharp. Everything's a little soft, but still really bold in color. So I liked that idea, and I'm gonna steal it from her. I'm gonna start with the shade Mystic from the Real Fantasy palette by Clara Psyche. It's kind of this like dark, bold purple. I want to definitely emulate this idea of like flashing disco-techy lights that like blend into each other and create new colors. And actually this past weekend we took our son to this like play area for kids, this like big museum that's like all for kids. And they had this whole room that was all about like rainbow lights and LEDs, and they had this rainbow tunnel, and they had this crazy like light up like giant light bright wall where you could take pins and put them in and they would all change colors. And it was basically like a giant discotheque for kids. And oh my gosh, it was so fun. So I'm kind of channeling some of those vibes as well into this look. So yeah, I'm just using, oh, by the way, this is a really awesome brush. It's newer to me. It's from Refer, and it's their number 12. It's like basically a dense, thick pencil brush, but I like that it has this like dense, thick dome. It's perfect for making this shape. And I've really been enjoying it because it's, like I said, it's like newer to me. I definitely want to play with pink, blue, purple, and then yellow. So when this scene happened, you are already within the context of the show, you are like tripping out because there's so many weird things going on. There's so much weird shit going on. There's just been a lot of build up to this like infamous waffle party. And I feel like it was just so well done and so spooky in this like really weird, creepy way. You're like, what is up with this guy? Oh, Tremel Tillman. First of all, where did this man come from? He is incredible. Tremel, if you're watching this, you are incredible. Yeah, he's amazing. And he plays Milchick. And in that scene, he's like vibing, he's dancing, he's going crazy. Zach Cherry, who plays Dylan, just like loses it and attacks him. And also it's like kind of the weirdest scene, I think, for Helly. What's her? I keep looking up these people's names because I want to tell you their real names. Brett Lauer, who plays Helly. Up until this point, she's just very aggressive and like obviously just sort of saying over and over again how she doesn't want to be there. And then you see her kind of like fake getting into the dancing, and it's so freaking creepy. And you're just like, what is going on? And then poor Adam Scott, who plays Mark, I always forget everybody's names. It's been a while since I saw the show. Poor Adam Scott is just like, oh yeah, let's dance. I mean, everybody is just going wild. But I want to start to do something weird with like another color. Yes, I think I'm gonna do the hot pink flamingo mixed with some of this hot pink orange tango Escape Pod palette. So that's these two colors right here. Fan that out. I'm getting weird, guys. I'm honestly like, this scene just is gonna bring it out in me. I'm just getting weird. I'm channeling Ruthie Barone right now, if you guys aren't familiar with her. She does a lot of really cool editorial graphic looks, and I'm always inspired by her, and I feel like I'm channeling her in my soul right now. I'm gonna take the shade Ice from the Real Fantasy palette and just I'm just doing like weird shapes because I think that's gonna really just kind of give you the weird shape vibes that I want from this. Let's bring some pink in. This is the shade Cerise from the Real Fantasy palette. Yeah, we're getting weird. We're getting really super duper freaking weird. But I'm really just trying to have fun with my shapes. Okay, let me find a yellow and let's see where I can include that. I found in another Clara Psyche palette, this is the Psyche's Box palette, I found this very bright sunflower yellow. So I'm gonna take that shade and I'm gonna kind of bring it into like right up here on top of the pink. Again, I'm just trying to get kind of like very odd, slightly disorienting shapes onto my eyes, like stuff that I would never do because I'm really just letting myself be inspired by the scene. And that is how the scene made me feel. It made me feel super out of balance, off kilter, out of body. Like, that's just what I want to bring to this. But it's also just fun. It's fun to like just let yourself go, right? I feel like I get into this little box all the time with my eyeshadow, and it is really fun to just kind of throw out what you normally do and do something totally different. Sometimes I forget that it's okay to play because you have like limited time, and you want to make sure that you're using you're using your time really well. And so I'll just get really like caught up in, you know, I can't experiment right now. I have to like, you know, do shit, and I have to look presentable and whatever. But it's really fun if you can ever just take a little bit of time for yourself to play and get back some of those exploratory vibes. Like, even if you hate how it comes out, it's just really freeing. It's really, really freeing, and I forget about it all the time. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with how the mattes are looking right now. I know it looks super crazy because I want to use the multi-chromes when I go back in to just really like find places to like make this sing and feel really lit up. Okay, I'm excited. Let's get into the Danessa Myricks palette. I think that I'm gonna just pick some random shades out of this that feel like they kind of go in line with the color scheme of that scene. I'm just gonna kind of wing it, and we're gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna start by taking that shade Trance and layering it on top of that indigo kind of purple blue that we layered on. I did do my base before I did my eyes. I know there's a lot of controversy around, you know, people who like to do their base before their eyes or not. If you're somebody that hates that, I get it. I get why you like to do your base at the end, but I personally just, it's so hard for me to get into it. I much prefer to do my base makeup first. It's really hard for me to like look at my face as a canvas when all I see are like spots and imperfections, and I like to look at it as more of like a full canvas. So I like to do my base first. Let's see, I'm gonna try the shade Out of Body and layering it right on top of Trance. Let's do a little bit of Sixth Sense from the Danessa Myricks palette. I think let's do that on the inner corner, kind of with this pop of yellow, and just kind of paint up. What is gonna happen? Go back in with some of that hot pink though. I feel like I've lost a lot of the pink in bringing in some more of these like iridescent shades, which I love. So I'm gonna go back into the Kaleidos palette, into that shade Flamingo, but I'm gonna take a softer brush this time, and I'm just gonna add in little touches of pink to make sure that that's present again. So maybe bring it over here, maybe a little up here. Bringing it back a little bit. So if you have seen Severance, I would love to hear from you in the comments below what you thought of the show. I know that it took me personally a while to get into it. I wasn't quite fully on board. Like in the first few episodes, I was intrigued, but I wasn't really super into it. It wasn't like calling to me the way that some shows do when you just get into them right away. But then I kept watching, and I got more interested in the themes and the mystery. Of course, I think the performances are really good. I'm a big Adam Scott fan, just generally. I like him. I'm loving the reunion of Party Down on Stars. Like, that's just, I was a big Party Down person. I'm so happy they're back. I hope that they do more than just one season too, because I love it. That area where I had done that really light blue, it just isn't quite working. It needs something to help bring it to life a little bit more. So I'm just looking at the Danessa palette to figure out what I can put there. I think it would be nice to have something like another blue, but just not that super light blue. I'm gonna do the shade Awakening from this palette. Just gonna press that in. So this is more of a blue purple. And I'm just gonna fade that into this spot here. And like I said, I know this is getting a little wild, but I actually think, oddly enough, it's still semi-wearable. I mean, maybe not for most people, maybe just for me, but to me, this is still kind of a wearable look. Oh my gosh, my hair. Why did no one tell me how crazy my hair is right now? It's fine. I'll fix it at the end. It's my working hair because we're working on it. Okay. I'm also just curious how many of you have anything from Kaleidos, because the only thing that I have from Kaleidos is this palette, the Escape Pod palette, and I have a blush that's sort of like an illuminated highlighting blush from them as well. That is very pretty. I think it's called their Lo-Fi Blusher, but I've been seeing more people talk about them recently when I'm not on a no-buy, which by the way, I'm on a no-buy right now, which is really good and important for me because we need to be putting money towards many, many other things. So I'm on a no-buy, but at a point at which I'm not, I am considering maybe picking up something else from Kaleidos because I've actually been really impressed by their stuff, especially for the price point. But I'm just curious if you watch me, if you have things from them, like them, aren't crazy about them, think they're worth it, let me know. I'm very curious. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with the eyes. I'm going to clean up my face, put on some mascara, and then we'll do the rest of the face together. I still look like I have crazy hair, but I think we're done with the eyes. I mean, I just went a little wild, but I had so much fun doing this look, and that, as I said, really was my goal. I think for blush, I'm actually going to try out using this one from Gen C. So this is from Gen C. This is their Clean Sheen cheek and lip color, and I have the shade Dragonfruit. So it is a pretty vibrant pink, and again, pink for me, at least in my mind, was sort of like the dominant kind of color in the scene, and I thought that it would be fun to start my cheek color with that as a base. You can see super vibrant, but it will blend out. Kind of dewy, but still pigmented cheek effect. These will eventually set down, but you can also, of course, set them with powder. And then, since I mentioned Kaleidos, I thought I would actually pull out. Okay, so this is the Kaleidos Blusher Duo. I think it's called the Lo-Fi Duo Blusher. And it has a matte shade and a duochrome sparkly shade. And that's what I want to layer on top of the Clean Sheen. But I think before I do that, I'm actually going to amp up the pink a little bit. So I'm going to dip into my Hourglass palette. I'm just going to take that sort of hot pink blusher in it. I think it's shade number 2, which is the Strobe Blush in Vibrant Heat. So I'm going to layer that on top. I also have been really enjoying, just for reference, I've been really enjoying using the finishing powder in this palette as well. That's been fun. I wasn't really using it for a while, and then I just had it on my vanity and was like, oh, let me try this. And it's really nice. It does have a little tiny bit of luminescence to it, but it's not glowy in the same way. It's just not like a fully matte opaque powder, but for like an everyday finishing powder, I think it's really lovely. So that's getting much closer to the kind of heat that I wanted, the heat. And now I'm gonna go in with Bloom, I guess is the shade, that more duochrome blusher. I don't wanna look like an alien, so I wanted something that's not, like if I wanted to look like an alien, I would totally go for Rituel Defee's metamorphic highlighters. Those are, if you wanna look glowy, that's what you would go for. But this is giving me that same kind of really like beautiful sheen iridescence without, I think, feeling completely unnatural, We are good. Cheeks are done. There's a story behind the thing that I'm gonna use for lips. Okay, so this is from Glossier. This is their Ultra Lip, and I have the shade Portrait. So I bought this, it's the only Ultra Lip shade that I have from them. And unfortunately, I don't really think that Portrait, even though I chose it, is quite the best shade for me. It's just kind of, it's like a hot coral, which is very pretty. I mean, I can wear it. Obviously, I can wear whatever I want, but there's something about it that it's just not, I just don't think it's always the most flattering for me, especially if I'm doing like a very neutral kind of basic everyday look. There's something about it that on me I feel is always just like a little bit off. But I thought that today's look would actually kind of be the perfect time to try it and see if it works, because it is kind of that like, you know, heat stroke, discotheque, sweaty pink kind of color, and it's got that sheen to it because I didn't want to do a matte lip. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna see how it works. This formula is interesting. It's basically like a much creamier, glossier version of their Generation G lipsticks, which I have said before, I like those. They're a product that I reach for. I know some of you hate them. That's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Ultra Lip is Glossier's answer to the drugstore glossy lip. This feels like a nicer formulated version of the like Revlon, like super glossy lipsticks. Gives you a very glossy look without being a straight lip gloss. The one thing, I don't think it's the perfect color for me. That's fine. My bad. User error. I just didn't pick the right shade. But I do like the formula. And I haven't picked this up in a while because I'm not crazy about the shade. And this is reminding me that maybe I should try a different color in this formula, because it's nice. I could see this being like kind of an ideal formula for summer. It's got that like glossy, balmy feel to it. It's very easy to apply, and they do have a nice range of shades. So I might get back on the Ultra Lip bandwagon. We'll see. Okay, so here we are with the finished look. I am dying to know what you guys think of it. Do you feel like I did the scene justice? Do you feel like I went totally outside the brief? Like, let me know what you think. But I had fun doing this. I really, really, truly did. And that, for me, was the ultimate goal with this challenge, was just to have a little bit more fun than maybe I ordinarily let myself do. So I think we did that. I think we had a good time. I feel a bit like a peacock, but in the best possible way. And I just can't wait to do more challenges with this same idea, which again, tentatively calling it face frames. We'll see if that sticks. But I would love to see what you are inspired by. What scenes in movie, TV, music videos do you love that you would like to take a minute to do an eye look or a face look or whatever kind of makeup look inspired by that? Because that is what I am dying to see. I'm having fun with it, but I want to see you have fun with it. So please tag me if you decide to do this challenge. Hashtag face frames is going to be the tentative name for now. I may change it, we'll see. But hopefully it takes off and we can just do these together every once in a while to get our creative juices flowing. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you give this video a like before you leave it. And I would love to have you subscribe so that you can hang out more with me in the future as we play with makeup together. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.